Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NXT The Game Season 1, Episode 50. We are just 7 editions of NXT TV away from, NXT The Game's Legacy pay-per-view, which is our WrestleMania. 66 C+ rating to start the show tonight in front of 4,731 people in New York. So let's get straight into the action. Tom Phillips tells us that tonight during the week, William Regal has booked Bobby Roode versus Drew McIntyre in the main event tonight to determine who faces Andrade Cien Almas at NXT TakeOver Legacy for the NXT Heavyweight Championship. Abby Laith has also granted Nikki Cross a rematch. The Revival will make their NXT TV debut. All this and so much more tonight. So we got up to a hot start, guys, with this angle. Tom Phillips performs poorly. That's unfortunate. There will be no worker improvements, but a 66 C+. All right. And in the opening match, the Revival defeat the Crow's Nest in 6:04 when Dash Wilder hits Masada by pinfall with the Shatter Machine. Masada was the weak link. Wilder with a 65. Dawson with a 67. Masada with a 44. Dawson with a 55. The new contender storyline has advanced but lost heat. The match got the crowd hotter. Dawson is improving in rubber skills. And the Revival defeat the Crow's Nest upon their return to NXT. 64C. So, guys, I'm very excited the direction the Revival and Authors of Pain have taken me. And in just 7 weeks, we're going to see that huge blow-off. All right, next, after the match, having won, the Revival grabbed the house microphones. Dash Wilder starts in saying that at NXT TakeOver Legacy, the Revival, the top guys, are going to bring the championships back home to the Revival where they belong. They said that they were gone for so long that they were starting to get homesick. Scott Dawson says in 7 weeks they're going to go hard all day, all night, where they land back atop the NXT depth chart and the mountains to become the 3-time NXT Tag Team Champion. So an 84 B+ here for Dawson and Dash. Dash and Dawson, excuse me. Guess it's the same thing. So absolutely fantastic rating for the Revival. We know the Authors of Pain have been getting great ratings all season. So I'm really looking forward to this one-on-one match. I'm thinking, and I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking about making this match actually the co-main event. The Authors of Pain have really earned it. We'll see how Dash and Dawson do leading up to the event, but I'm leaning making this the co-main event of NXT TakeOver Legacy, just given how everything's been. All right, next, No Way Jose is seen dancing his way backstage towards the ring. No Way Jose takes on Blake of the new It Factor. Blake and Murphy coming up next. 72B-. No worker improvements, but No Way Jose will be facing Blake coming up next. And in a decent match, No Way Jose defeats Blake in 750 by pinfall with a sit-down crucifix powerbomb. No Way Jose with a 66. Blake with a 49. Velvet Sky, per usual, does her awesome work at ringside. No worker improvements. That's okay, though. No Way Jose gets the big victory tonight over Blake here on NXT as he searches for his match at NXT TakeOver Legacy. 64C. Next, we get a huge hype package featuring Sanity, Eric Young, Nikki Cross, Alexander Wolf, and Killian Dane, and everything that they've done this year. Sanity has been a big part of Season 1, folks, of NXT The Game 16, that is, and likely will be a big part of Season 2 with more focus around Eric Young and Nikki Cross. A real build-up in the tag team division as well, as we see tons and tons of good matches with Wolf and Dane. Sanity still must contend with, the graphics say. So we're coming up the show. Next graphic, I'm leaving you hanging here with the 66C+. The announcing quality was great. Nikki Cross was good. No work or improvements. They must still deal with who? We'll see. But first, we see best friends Bayley and Sasha Banks getting ready, but not talking to one another. Remember, Bayley and Sasha face off in the co-main event of the evening to see who faces Peyton Royce of the Iconic Trio for the NXT Women's Championship at NXT TakeOver Legacy. So Bayley and Sasha Banks obviously will be facing off tonight per William Regal, given what happened with the Iconic Trio at NXT TakeOver unopposed. That's earned them a shot against one another. All right, 67C+. And about that, decent wrestling, but didn't have much heat. Abby Laith again defeats Nikki Cross in 13 minutes with a quick cradle. Unbelievable. 52D+ with no skill improvements. After the match, the bell sounds and sounds and sounds as Nikki Cross goes to grab Abby Laith, but she slides and falls out of the ring again. The crowd uproariously cheering for Abby Laith. Abby Laith, she's just upset Nikki Cross of Sanity's for a second straight week. Unbelievable. As Abby Laith heads up the ramp, Nikki Cross is pulling at her hair. Cannot believe she lost again. So Sanity's resident crazy chick takes the loss on her back again. And Abby Laith gets the victory. So 2 victories back-to-back for Abby Laith. 65C. Next, William Regal is shown watching Cedric Alexander backstage heading towards the ring as TJP walks up and watches it with him. Regal nods at TJP, who doesn't nod back but just stays there focused on the entrance. So TJ Perkins, obviously last week you saw that was a little jealous. Cedric Alexander had signed with NXT, and it appears that William Regal's trying to get into TJP's head to see what's going on, but TJP is just focused on Cedric. And in a terrible match, Cedric Alexander defeats the Amazing Red in 7 minutes with the overtime, a 30E+. Ugh, absolutely awful. A 40 for Cedric Alexander. A 40 for Cedric Alexander. A 23 for the Amazing Red. Alexander's getting better at his gimmick, which is great. The commentary gave it a boost. He's performing also. That is Cedric his performance skills, but Amazing Red was not highly over, and it really did not help. All right, next, Kathy Kelly's in the back with DIY. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. As the fans cheer, Kathy asks DIY how they feel about getting their hands on DIY one more time at TakeOver Legacy. And be it DIY, I mean the Young Bucks. Ciampa says it feels great, be it in your house, Toronto, Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament, whenever and wherever DIY has been. The Bucks have been holding on to our shirt tails. And at NXT TakeOver Legacy, we're going to get to face the Bucks in a no disqualification match. Gargano smiles and adds, that's right, the Bucks can't run, the Bucks can't hide, the Bucks can't. Gargano was going to say sneak up on them, but exactly what happened is a pair of super kicks land on the jaws of DIY as Kathy Kelly scurries away. Mac and Nick Jackson stand over DIY and give them the suck it sign before too sweeting over DIY and walking away. A 90A+, good lord. This match, along with the Authors of Pain and Revival matches, building up crazy awesome. Nick Jackson is getting better. The announcing was better in this segment. There's no work or improvements, but a 90A+ between Kathy Kelly, the Young Bucks, and DIY, who was laid out again by the Young Bucks, who are just going above and beyond to do whatever it takes to get the upper hand. Next, backstage, as Cedric Alexander is getting congratulated by a few stage hands, TJP walks up and offers his hand, in which Cedric shakes. TJP says it looks like he's not the only one who wanted to leave 205 Live for the greener pastures of NXT. Cedric tells TJP that it was Regal who reached out to him and says with the start of the new Junior Heavyweight Championship division, he needed a talent like me to compete and push the other wrestlers, to prove to myself how good I can be. So I obliged and made the jump to NXT. TJP stares a hole in Cedric Alexander before leaving Cedric Alexander wondering what crawled up the ass of TJ Perkins. So a 76B- between TJ Perkins and Cedric Alexander. Obviously, TJP and Cedric Alexander are lower card workers, and they'll be probably getting into a lower card feud. But TJP isn't really aggressive as of yet. He's just not happy that Cedric has came to where he just signed. Just kind of taking a little bit of the shine off him. Next, in a decent match, Bayley defeats Sasha Banks in 8 minutes with the Hugplex. Bayley and Sasha Banks have great chemistry, and it showed in their performance. A 62 and a 64 by Sasha and Bayley. What a great 65 rating between the two females for their first single action here tonight. There's no work or improvements, but Bayley is your #1 contender and will face Peyton Royce at NXT TakeOver Legacy for the NXT Women's Championship. Next, after Bayley has just won, Sasha and Bayley look up and down at one another, and they hug, and Sasha raises Bayley's hand in victory. She's happy for Bayley. Tom Phillips reminds us that Bayley is facing Peyton at NXT TakeOver Legacy for the NXT Women's Championship in just a little over 7 weeks. But speaking of Peyton Royce, her music hits, and Peyton with the iconic trio of Billie Kay and Madison Eagles come out and stare down Bayley and Sasha in the middle of the ring, screaming that Bayley will never win the NXT Women's Championship, and it's the Women's Revolution 2.0 going on, and they're not welcome. So 65C for the iconic trio and Hug Life backstage or in ring after the post-match segment going on. Remember, Bayley will be facing Peyton Royce, and Sasha Banks really is on the outside looking in right now. The women new normal storyline has advanced and gained heat. No work improvements, but a 65C, good as we trek on. Next, we see the Young Bucks laughing and leaving the arena. Clearly still happy with what they did to DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. No work improvements, but a 78B for those dastardly Young Bucks. Alright, and next, lastly, Triple H is seen on screen reminding us that he's coming to NXT next week and has a huge announcement regarding Legacy. No worker improvements, no road agents. Alright, and in the main event, in a good match, Bobby Roode draws with Drew McIntyre in 20 minutes when the time limit expired. Bobby Roode and Drew McIntyre have good chemistry. A 67 for Roode, a 65 for McIntyre. But this was the match to determine who would be the #1 contender to face Andrade Cien Almas, and it ends with a draw, a 71C+. That's not great. After going to a time limit draw, Andrade Cien Almas and his brother Macias Almas come out pissed off. he isn't aware of what's going on or who will be fighting. That is Andrade Cien Almas. Bobby Roode and Drew McIntyre, both of which almost won in the final minutes, just look at one another confused who's going to Legacy. But Andrade Cien Almas is now ending the show on the note that maybe, just maybe, he won't have to defend his championship at Legacy. But we all know that's not right. And I believe Andrade knows that as well. For now, Andrade Cien Almas is thrilled. So, the main event storyline, the Making an Impact storyline, has advanced and gained heat. The segment deserved better announcing. No work improvements, but we're going to end it on a 89A segment to end NXT The Game Season 1, Episode 50. Let's see what we get here. We get a 76, much better from our 64 last week. The show increased our popularity in 45 regions, a 76 B-. I think we crescendoed very nicely tonight. This is going to end Wednesday, Week 2, February 2018 of NXT The Game, which was Season 1, Episode 50. We are now just 6 shows away from Legacy. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a glorious evening.